of arrests aimed at curbing crime and drug use. However, even without crime, many believe the trail is not well maintained. Tyler Murdoch from Salt Lake City Public Lands agrees this project is mainly focused on public safety, but shares why there's a significant investment in public improvements.
As we mentioned, the project will begin this week. A key component of that project will be relocating the eastern portion, about a quarter mile of the Jordan River Parkway Trail, to the western side of the river. This will improve sightlines, this will improve environmental conditions of the river, and is anticipated to be completed later this summer. In addition, Salt Lake City Public Lands is also working on several maintenance improvements to improve the cleanliness and care and stewardship of the Jordan River, and we will begin implementation of around 40 new in-ground trash receptacles that improve the capacity and overall cleanliness of the Jordan River. That is anticipated to begin in April as well.
You know, before today, I've never really heard Parkway in there before. It's always been just the JRT, the Jordan River Trail. Anyway, Kristen McPeak spoke to people who live near the Jordan River Trail, who have been there for years, who say they've noticed that steady decrease in the overall quality of the trail.
They need to do everything that they possibly can to help alleviate this problem. And hopefully they'll be able to help a lot of people along the way.
Well, Missy Johnson says it takes the neighbors working with the police to improve the area as a whole. Now, during the closure, the departments involved plan to improve sightlines and infrastructure, meaning the removal of overgrown vegetation, install better lighting, and add and maintain more trash cans. Other improvements include, but were not limited to, additional daily patrols in the 9-mile stretch of the trail, police operations targeting high crime activity, deployment of public safety cameras and drones for aerial visibility. The plan also includes proactive efforts to connect individuals to social services when they're appropriate. This is all part of Mayor Mendenhall's public safety plan that was implemented and put forth back in December of 2024. Well, speaking of city planned improvements, Salt Lake City is accepting proposals for development on 2 parcels of land that make up the Fleet Block. A story I've shared with you before. If you actually go back in the archives about 6 to 9 months, we did a couple stories about blight buildings in Salt Lake. Fleet Block was one of those. This is the next step in redeveloping 4 of the 8.7 acres of city-owned property on the block. Now, the city will select 2 development teams for the respective parcels and either negotiate purchase agreements or ground leases. Developers will be selected by a committee based on their qualifications and vision. The property's been vacant since '09, and last month, the city demolished the warehouses on the property. More updates around the city. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints giving us a behind-the-scenes look at how they're getting ready for this weekend's General Conference. They sent us this video showing the staging crew creating the podium at the front of the conference center. They use compressed air to slide the giant pieces into place. And next, workers install the chairs and handrails and all. There's more than 500 pieces to install.
It takes about 30 work hours or about 3 weeks to completely assemble what you see on camera.
General Conference happening this weekend, Saturday and Sunday downtown. Of course, that means there'll be more people downtown, so maybe plan around all that. You'll be bringing updates, of course, as they happen, maybe some big announcements. I always wait for the next temple announcements. They always seem to come here. So you can find all of that on our website, KUTV.com. And even more updates all the way down in southern Utah for all of our friends in the St. George area. A new electrical substation set to break ground in May on city-owned land that may be known to be rich in prehistoric fossils. Fascinating. Before construction begins, paleontologists with the St. George Dinosaur Discovery Site are racing against the clock to recover what they can. Now, the city's working in partnership with the fossil recovery efforts, providing support with logistics, permits, and equipment.
But I choose to look at it as we would have never uncovered these rocks if this area wasn't developed. It would have stayed under the ground. So really, even though we're kind of on a tight deadline, this is stuff we never would have been able to get a chance to touch. And we're just lucky that the city's working with us to give us this opportunity.
Yeah, some might not like it, others using this opportunity to discover. So the Dinosaur Discovery Site also plans to stay involved with the project throughout construction to continue to survey the land for scientifically valuable fossils. Let's talk baseball, can we? Many are speculating on the construction timeline of the new stadium for the Salt Lake Bees. I've been watching it go up for the last number of months now because I live over there. But the Bees have an opening night 1 week away. We got the countdown clock right over my shoulder. So work is still in progress at this point. Natalie Wattis met with the mayor of South Jordan to see if we could get some answers to your questions. We will have that coming up in just a few minutes right here on Arc Salt Lake. Meanwhile, KMYU is the place to be for baseball. Live coverage from the stadium next week, showing you everything that's new in Sojo. I'll be out there on the 8th along with some of our crew. I hope you will take this with you and say, I'm going to go see Brian Schnee, say hello, and also see if I can get my big 5 minutes of fame. See, not 15 seconds, but 5 minutes of fame on Arc Salt Lake. We'll put you on for a while. So first pitch for the first 4 games of the season, slated for 6:35 p.m. Our coverage there, you see it on our TV here on KMYU. We've got select games all year long. It's the Bees and the Reno Aces in the opening series. You know, just a reminder for you, Utah Transit Authority just opening their newest track station not too far from the stadium. Oh, it's so far to drive from downtown Salt Lake City. Well, make a night out of it. Go take the tracks. Kind of fun. South Jordan Downtown Station, that's what it's called, and it officially opened last week. It is located in the Daybreak neighborhood. UTA says this will make it easier for fans to attend games. There are now 3 track stops throughout South Jordan. More Bees baseball on the other side, but also coming up on Arc Salt Lake. What started as a trip to the groomer ended in stitches, antibiotics, and pain medicine. What the Humane Society says about grooming regulations here in Utah. Washington County family says their 16-year-old dog was injured at a grooming appointment. Now, I read this whole article today. It's on our website, KUTV.com right now, and Liv Kelleher did a lot of work on this. So now they're stuck with a very big vet bill. It really is every pet owner's worst nightmare. You drop a dog off at the groomer, something goes wrong. But tonight, this family has a warning for other pet owners. Liv Kelleher has the exclusive story for us tonight from southern Utah.
What began as a trip to the groomers for Chester, a 6-pound senior dog, ended in stitches, antibiotics, and pain medication. His parents say it was shocking and a symptom of a larger problem.
It is pretty horrendous, seeing your dog like all bloody.
His injuries, a gash on his leg, razor burns on his skin, and a cut on his ear.
He's older, so he really can't afford to get any kind of infection. He's on pain medicine now too.
The groomer who worked on Chester, Dan Silcox, says he was difficult and required 2 groomers. He says what happened is rare and that he's groomed over 40,000 dogs. 1 in 3,000 need multiple groomers and 1 in 5,000 experience a cut. But Chester's parents say injuries to this level are egregious.
We're reasonable, we're understandable. Like if a little accident would have happened, but to happen in multiple spots and that's severe on the leg, I wish he just would have stopped and told us.
The Humane Society of Utah says the issue lies in the lack of oversight on the whole industry.
And there's not really any state requirements for these dog groomers to hold a license other than like a business license or to complete specific trainings to operate these businesses.
What's at risk for animals when you drop them off at a groomer or a doggy day play if you don't know what certification the people you are entrusting your animal's care into have?
In most extreme cases, these animals can be put at risk for death.
The couple filed a police report but say the best outcome is change, not just for Chester, but for all pets of Utah. That groomer told me that he is a master groomer and that title comes from experience and knowledge of different cuts. The Humane Society, however, recommends choosing a groomer who is certified with a professional organization like the Utah Professional Pet Groomers Association. We've linked their resources alongside this story on our website, KUTV.com. In St. George, Liv Kelleher, KUTV 2 News.
Well, he spent nearly 20 years in prison before his conviction for murder was overturned. But this Utah crime story was far from over. Bruce Dallas Goodman walked free from prison in 2004 when evidence from the crime scene was retested for his DNA. A 2 News investigation looks at the twisted killing of a Utah woman that sparked a decades-long search for justice.
There is no doubt in my mind that Bruce is innocent. He did not commit this crime, and the evidence shows it.
Because of the unique circumstances and because of the lost evidence, it didn't necessarily solve the mystery.
Starting tonight on 2 News at 10, a 3-part series looks at the trial, why the conviction was overturned, and why lost evidence left doubt for some about who the real killer is. Well, it's been one of those interesting times of year in Utah where we get the warm up, then the cool down, and some rain, and then some snow, and we just can't figure out what direction we're going in. Meteorologist Chase Thomason has our first alert forecast.
Not a bad storm, especially for this time of year. We had the rain yesterday, changed to snow last night and this morning. Alta, the big winner, approaching 2 feet of snow within the last 24 hours. Park City, Santaquin down in Utah County, 5 inches. Richfield in central Utah, 4 inches of snow. So some valley locations doing well. South Jordan, Bountiful 2, and Sugar House in Salt Lake City picking up an inch of snow. Speaking of Salt Lake City, as we look towards the entire month of March, it was exactly what we needed. It was our wettest and our snowiest month this winter, and actually our wettest month since February of last year. Above normal, 2.4 inches in the rain gauge. Of course, some of that was snow, more than a ½ inch above normal, and 6.7 inches of snow at the airport. Alta also doing very well. You'll notice right now we're at 503, so the last 3 seasons picking up more than 500 inches of snow. Of course, the record a couple years ago, years prior, we were just below 500 inches. And more snow, especially up the Cottonwood Canyons in the forecast. There's a chance for a little bit of lake effect this evening and overnight. overnight, especially southeast of the Great Salt Lake. And once that sun goes down, we could see a little bit of snow overnight, and that might impact your morning commute. It won't be widespread. Now we have more of these scattered showers, especially across central and southern Utah tomorrow afternoon and evening. Valley rain and mountain snow. We'll see more showers lingering into Thursday morning and Thursday afternoon, especially across portions of eastern Utah. But we might see a stray shower here along the Wasatch Front on Thursday and maybe even again on Friday. Eventually the whole storm moves out. Not going to see a whole lot in the valleys, maybe a dusting to an inch if you get underneath some of those snow showers. But the mountains, especially south of I-80 through Friday morning, another 4 to 10 inches of snow. You're probably wondering, though, where is that spring weather, that sunshine, the warmer weather? It's coming our way. It begins to move in over the weekend, but we really start to warm things up for early next week. And by the end of the week, it looks like we could have potentially the warmest weather of the year so far, with this big ridge of high pressure right on top of Utah. That's coming in about 8 to 9 more days. You'll see this on the extended forecast. St. George, scattered showers for your Wednesday, 56 degrees, which is well below normal for this time of year. Isolated showers on Thursday, 57. Then we're climbing to the 60s, but a little breezy Friday and Saturday. Sunday will be perfect, though, at 72 degrees. And then we're climbing to the 80s next Wednesday. And then take a look at next Thursday, potentially into the 90s down in St. George. That's almost summer weather for southern Utah. Salt Lake, it gets cold tonight, 29 degrees again. Be careful on those roads. There might be a stray snow shower, few showers possible tomorrow. More of these isolated showers Thursday and Friday. And then the sunshine is out over the weekend. By Sunday, we are in the low 60s, mid 60s Monday and Tuesday with a few more clouds rolling in. And then here comes that beautiful weather by next Wednesday and Thursday for northern Utah, highs climbing into the 70s.
Glad we waited for this, because coming out of that forecast there, you see 1 week from right now, it is baseball weather. Salt Lake Bees will open up their brand new stadium in the Daybreak area. The area is buzzing with construction noise, and some wonder if things will be done in time. Natalie Wattis reports.
Do you think that the stadium is going to be ready in time for game day, April 8th?
It might be ready for a ball game, but I think that's about it.
The America First Square in South Jordan, the home of the new Salt Lake City Bees baseball stadium, still needs a lot of work.
If I were outside looking in, I would say absolutely not. There's no chance this thing is going to get done.
Game day is in exactly 1 week, and while this is a privately owned and funded project, the city of South Jordan says it's doing what it can to help make sure the ballpark is open for business on time.
There's a lot of construction happening around it and on the stadium itself. Is it on track? Is it going to be open in time from the city's view?
I have every confidence in the teams working so hard. You know, the Bees are already practicing there. There's already ball being played there.
The mayor says construction permits were approved up front, and they have city inspectors on the ground with the crews to make sure there aren't any hangups.
Any last minute things that are still being done as crews work over the next 7 days, our team from the city is on it to make sure that it can be inspected and that authorization is given when things are done so that we can play ball.
The mayor says much of the construction you see here is on the other planned amenities of the square, like an entertainment center and restaurants.
What do you make of all of this?
Oh, it's bananas, isn't it? Like up until the very final week, and they've got crews running 24/7 around here. I've heard hundreds of construction workers, like between the ballpark, which is obviously the centerpiece, and all the things around it, like it's nuts.
While the dust is still settling here, the mayor says give them 7 days to pull it off.
We'll be ready for you.
Gotta wait for the movie theater and the hotel. All that stuff comes later. Coming up on Arc Salt Lake, how sneakers worn by NBA coaches will raise money for autism research. Springville wants to install a series of art loops in the downtown area. This is an artist's rendition of the project. The goal is to create an interactive public art experience linking the Museum of Art, Public Library, and Civic Center. The first phase should be open in February of 2026. Talk some hoops here. Utah Jazz assistant coach Scott Morrison and his wife are organizing a league-wide effort to encourage acceptance for people with autism. During NBA games between April 2nd and the 9th, all head coaches will wear custom sneakers featuring their team's colors and designs that symbolize the autism community. These sneakers are absolutely fire. They'll go up on public auction next month, so you can't buy them. You have to bid on them. But good thing here, all the money raised will benefit the To The Max Foundation, a nonprofit founded by the Morrisons in honor of their 5-year-old son who was diagnosed with autism back in 2022. And tomorrow night, the Jazz are back on the court taking on the Houston Rockets. They have just 6 games left in the season. Oh, no postseason here for the Jazz. Tomorrow night's game in Houston tips off at 6 o'clock. You can watch the action on your home for the Jazz, which is KJazz Channel 14, which means Arc Salt Lake will be on KMYU tomorrow night. I will not be here with you tomorrow or Thursday. I'm so sorry. So I will actually see you in a few days. Find me on social. Take care.